Several times, of course. How Amrutatvam could be attained? There he said, Sama, Dukkha, Sukham, Dhiram, So Amrutatvaya Kalpate. So Amrutatvam could be attained only by receiving all the things equally with the heart, not with the body. With the body, the reactions will be there. If something good comes, we feel joy. If something bad comes, yes, we feel sorrow also for it. What happens once, Kurtalam Swamiji was there. Trivikrama Ramananda Bharati Swamiji, old Swamiji he was, he was the Pithadipati of Kurtalam. So once, when he was in the Vijayawada, he used to come to our Vedic school also often whenever invite him to inaugurate certain functions. He used to come there. Once when he came there, a person who was just in 60s came to Swamiji and asked Swamiji to give sannyasam to him. Swamiji asked him, Are, to take sannyasam you need a lot of vairagyam. Then he said, Swamiji, I cultivated tremendous vairagyam. Yes. How did you know that you are having that vairagyam? Swamiji, I have that experience, Then Swamiji asked, how? Just I want to know. Because so far I am not having that much vairagyam. He was in 90s by that time, but very active. Then he said, Swamiji, I wanted to take sannyasam 10 years ago, but people said, when you have your relatives like children and wife, you are not supposed to take. So see that children are get married and the other person, get satisfied. If she permits, then you can take sannyasam. Otherwise, wait till she leaves the world. I was waiting for the chance. And very recently, she died. Swamiji, that's why now I came. My God, I'm so sorry, my friend. So your wife died recently? Yes, Swamiji, you need not worry. Even I didn't get any sorrow, when she passed away, because I got that vairagyam. So, even I didn't cry at all. No single drop of, tears I dropped. So, Swamiji, I really got the vairagyam. Then immediately, that Kurtalam Swamiji said, my friend, today, it's not the time for you to take sannyasam. It is the time for you to get another marriage. Then he was shocked. And he asked, Swamiji, are you joking with me? Then Swamiji said, no, my friend. See, physically we have some bondages. We created some bondages. And we are sharing life with few people. And our heart should be always with a mood of sharing sorrows and joys, from others. When your life shareholder passed away, you didn't get any sorrow. And your heart is so, drudham. It's not drudham actually, it is like iron. It is steel. Your heart is not melting even for your own relatives. Then a sannyasi's heart should bleed, should move, should melt for the sorrows of every creature in this world. And if a bird cries, your heart should cry. If you cut a tree and it started sapping, then your heart should bleed. You have to cry for it. We know the stories of Valmiki, Siddhartha, and so many like that. And you are not just feeling sorrow even for your own wife. Then how do you feel sorrow for the world? You cannot. So your heart is not so far ripened, my son. So this is not time for you to take sannyasam. That's what he said. Physically, there are some good things, some bad things coming always in this world, for which body reacts and for which you have to do certain things also. There is no compromise. You have to do those things. But while doing them, see, your goal is not destruct. while moving with all these things, see that you shouldn't come back from your own aim. That's why Krishna says, Nityam cha samachittatvam ishta anishta upapattishu. And very important thing after this, Krishna says, Maicha ananya yogena bhaktihi avyabhicharini. Devotion, strong devotion, unshakable devotion towards me. Ananya yogena bhaktihi. Bhaktihi, incessant love towards God, towards Krishna. Here it's interesting, Krishna didn't mention Ananya yogena bhagavati bhaktihi. He didn't say that. He said, Mayicha. He showed him. Who was he? And who is he? He is Lord Krishna, who is incarnation of Lord Narayana. He is showing him. He just showed his universal form. And then he again came down to Arjuna as a driver. He showed his paratva. At the same time, he showed his saulabhyam also. There are two qualities. One is supremacy and the other is accessibility. Few things are having accessibility, but there is no supremacy with few things. There are few things which are having supremacy, not having any accessibility. We need not worship both of them. Wherever there is accessibility along with supremacy, supremacy along with accessibility, yes, we can worship that. It's only with Lord Narayana who is accessible and also who is the supreme. His supremacy has been shown in 11th chapter, and his saulabhyam he is showing here. Again he shows number of times till the last sloka. Mam ekam saranam vraja. Mam, he shows, see, me. Me being your driver. I am sitting here as your driver. Being the Lord of the whole universe, I am sitting here as your driver. As you instruct, thus I lead the chariot. See, it is something strange. Lord permitting us to be his boss. Who allows us to be like that? At times, father carries his son on his back and says, my son, come on, you are the driver, I am the horse. Vilayatataki, father does it. But Lord of the world, Lord of the universe, is now sitting as the driver. As he instructs, Radham Senayor Ubhayor Madhye, take chariot. If he instructs in such a way, then Senayor Ubhayor Madhye Sthapayitva Rathottamam. As he orders, thus he obeys. He obeys, not just executing, but just obeying. Here is saulabhyam. Our Pillalokacharya Swami says, Kayum Uravukolum Siri Piditta Chiruvayirum Sena Dhuli Dhusaritimana Tirukkuralum Terukku Kizhe Nathina Tiruvadigaluma Ai Nirkira Nilaye Namakku Kattugiran Mai. Have belief, have devotion, unshakable devotion towards me, not having any wishes in your heart. That's very important, because he knows everything. When he is the master of the whole universe, don't you think that he knows everything about you? Don't you think that he can sanction everything for you? Is there any need for you to ask? So he can give you anything he wants. He can give you anything you want also. But wait for his sanctioning the things. He may be waiting for the right time to give. Now, at times, what happens if you go to God and ask for 1 lakh of rupees? But immediately he never gives. He waits for the time. But we are not able to bear with him. Then we say, oh, we asked Krishna several times and he is not giving. So Krishna is not right God. Let us go to someone X, Y, Z. Then he starts doing pradakshinas and breaking coconuts there. And again, after a couple of days, he says, oh, here also nothing is happening. Come on, let's go to Y God. And there he starts again. And he keeps changing gods every day, every day, every day. We want make business always with God. I do this, you do to me. Is it right? Okay. What happens if God gives you 1 lakh immediately? And you should be in a position to carry that cash along with you. And you need a place to preserve the money also at least. And again, for money to keep, you need a box. To keep that box, you need a house. And to maintain a house, you need people along with you. So first what God makes to you is, He allows some people to come to you, to be with you. Then He allows you to construct a house. And again then He allows you to purchase a cash box, a locker, keep it in house. Then He gives you 1 lakh. My son, here is now facility for you to preserve the money. Come on, now keep it. But till then, we are not able to wait. We think our wishes are always instantaneously should be fulfilled. Drop something, get the card. Do namaskara and get the result. This is not, that is a magic, that may be happening on TV screens, but not in real life. If you sow the seed, wait for time. Maybe, it is taking 6 days, 6 months, or at times a few years. If it is a mango seed, let it take 4 to 6 years. And if it is if it is a food grain, wait for 3 months or so. You can reap the fruit of it. Don't think, yes, night I just sow the seed and just next day morning I want to reap it. That is not the right way. But we are not having that much patience. We want to get it at once, now. But we are not interested to do what we are supposed to do. Here Krishna says, if you have that devotion towards me, ananya yogena avyabhicharini bhakti. In 7th chapter, he says, my Arjuna, there are 2 types of devotees. Few are ekabhaktis and a few are dvibhaktis. And in 7th he says, Tesham jnani nityayuktaha ekabhaktihi. Jnani is considered as nityayuktaha ekabhaktihi. Others are dvibhaktis, anityayuktas. Nityayukta means always he wants to be with me. He always loves to be with me always. That is one, Nitya Yukta. And Eka Bhakti also, because I give something to them. So their bhakti is on the objects, not on me. They love me too because I give them to them. I give these things to them. So their main focus is on the result, on the fruit. I am the giver, so they love me. Whenever I give that fruit to them, they say bye-bye. So in Telugu there is a saying, Oda ekke varaku oda mallaya, oda dataka bodi mallaya. Till he gets into the boat, he says, Oda mallaya, oda mallaya. And after he finished his journey, then he says, hey, at the Bodhi Malaya. Avanda kondu vandana. So he says Bodhi Malaya. That is the tendency of us, Till he gives something, we show our teeth to them. But the moment we got, that's all. We never think. No gratitude, nothing. They are dvibhaktas. But, and they are not nityayuktas. They don't want to be with me always. They want to be with me until I give them fruit. After that, they say bye-bye and they go along with it. In Tirupavai, Andal says, Unnai aritittu vandom. நீ கொடுக்கிறதை நான் அரித்தித்து வரவில்லை, உன்னை அரித்தித்து வந்தோம். I wanted you, my Krishna, not what you are going to give to us. They are called Nitya Bhaktis. Here Krishna says, Mayicha Ananya Yogena Bhaktihi Avyabhicharini. There are people like that, like Gopis in Nandavraj, Prahlada, our Nammalvar. They never wanted anything other than Krishna. Unnum soru, parugu neerum, tindum vettilayum, ellam kannan. Everything for me is just Krishna. His divine name, His divine form, His divine attributes, His divine activities. They are my food, they are my drink, they are my luxury. Everything for me is just Lord Krishna and His divinity. That's all. Not only just objects, but even the joy I get through my relatives is also just through Krishna only, not with anyone else. No, we love people in the world, but to some extent only. But we develop all sorts of relationship with only Krishna. Is it possible to be like that? You know, in world, we get one sort of joy through father, another sort of joy through mom, another sort of joy through husband, and something through wife, and something through children, something through brothers, something through friends. Like that, each one could make us feel joy with a particular way of relationship. But with Krishna, all sorts of relationship, all sorts of joy He could give. Sarvalabhaya Kesavaha. Whoever there in the world, Ekaika Phalalabhaya. You know, our Puranas say, others will please you with only few things. Kalidasa in Shakuntalam is one of his works. In that he says, Dushyanta the king who was ruling in those days once made an announcement. Shakuntala was just left the ashram along with the disciples sent by Kanva Maharshi and reaching king's place. Meanwhile, the king made an announcement saying that whoever lost their relatives, let them not feel any sort of sorrow in my kingdom because I am alive. I can make them feel joy with that particular relationship, except dharma viruddha relationship is there. I cannot please ladies, who lost their husbands as a husband. Except that, I can become a child, I can become a father, I can become a brother, I can become everything except that. Because after all he was a human being. So he was forced to say so. Dharma viruddha, as not happens, thus I can become the relative. But with Krishna, you need not give that exemption also. You can feel him as your husband, you can feel him as your father, you can feel him as your mother. Ma tvameva mata cha, pita tvameva, tvameva bandhuscha, gurus tvameva, tvameva vidya, dravidam tvameva, tvameva sarvam, mama deva deva. Yes, all sorts of relationship with one. Swamiji, is it possible to be like that for one? This is a big question. But it's possible, my friend. You have seen one person, or just you are like that also. You are son to someone. You are father to someone. You are brother to someone. And you are friend to someone. If all those people are around you, then you are showing those relationships with those particular persons. If he is your son, you are showing fatherly affection towards him. If he is son, at the same time you are showing, the respect to your dad, and if there is brother, yes, you are showing your bhratritva there, and if there is your friend, you are showing your maitri there. Same time, with different people, aren't you showing like that your concern? When you, after all a small creature, are able to show such affection, such love, such concern towards few people around you, don't you think God could show you like that? So, He can please you and He can give you all sorts of joy. He can make you feel joy with all the things. Have that unshakable devotion, incessant love towards Him. That's very important. Here is something to note. We see so many people speaking Bhagavad Gita and giving wonderful courses on Gita, but they never worship Lord Krishna. I don't know how they do that. I don't know how they believe that Bhagavad Gita. They speak Bhagavad Gita, they chant Bhagavad Gita, and they worship something XYZ. So there is no matching, between what they practice, between what they preach. There the arjavam has gone. What to talk about those people? I don't know. Here very, very clearly Krishna showed His form, His Sulabha form, with Saulabhya quality, with accessibility, and said, Mayicha. He is just pointing Him to us. Ananya yogena bhaktihi avyabhichareni. Let's not criticize anybody, but let us try to understand what Krishna is trying to teach us. There are so many devatas, no doubt, my friends. Some people, once they say, Are, why these many gods at all? This is very much confusing, Swamiji. That's why it's better to, go to some other religion, because there will be only one God. Here, there are 101 gods, not 101. Muppattu Moovar, Muppatti Moonu Koti, Andanalle. But now, 100 crores. Each one is a God, Each one is saying that Aham Brahmasmi. So he himself is a God, and everyone is a God. So when the population was 33 crores, or 3 crores probably there is only 3 crores of devatas who are there. But now the population grown to 90 crores, 100 crores officially. So many devatas, my God. So it's very confusing, Swamiji. Some story, Christians, once they were telling a story in villages. It's very logical and attracting village people. Once 3 people were going. One believer of these devatas, another one is believer of Christ, and third one is believer of Islam. All these 3 were just friends, and they were crossing a river. It's a village river. It was rainy time. Suddenly, probably somewhere there must be rain, and the level of the water just coming up, and they were marooned, so they can't escape from the place. So they started praying to God. What Christ, a Christian says, "Oh Christ, Jesus Christ, save me, save me, save me." 100 times he said only Christ's name. So Christ came and just saved him. And about the other one, he says, lalai. So he prayed for probably that God, or a God whom he believed, and he came and just saved him. But what about the third one? He started praying to Ram, save me. Those fellows, they cried for 101 times. So, but they cried with the same name. But this fellow started crying, saying, "Oh Rama, save me, Rama, save me." After calling Rama 10 times, he said, "Hey Krishna." Meanwhile, Rama started coming. But surprisingly, when this fellow changed his voice saying that, "Oh Krishna," then Rama said, "When I am ready to save you, you wanted Krishna to come and to you. Okay, I'll see how he comes and saves you." So that Rama went back. But Krishna thought, "My God, chance came to me because he's not calling Rama, he's calling me. So let me go and save him and prove my greatness." Then Rama. Then Krishna started coming. But Krishna also wanted to test whether he is really concerned or not. So he cried 10 times. Meanwhile, Krishna was slowly approaching, and this fellow said, "Ho Shambho!" My God, you are really, crazy. So when I am coming, I am save you. Now you went to other god, so I am not going to save you. Like that, this fellow, called so many devatas. And finally again he started calling Rama. Then Rama said, "When I am coming, yes, you are not interested. Now again you are calling me. I never come to you. I am not going to save you at all. Be there itself." And that fellow ultimately lost his life and went to hell. Permanent hell. How logical this story appears. How interesting it is. It's true. And our children are really becoming free for it. This story appears really good, and we have no answer for it. Though we try on so many things, but still we ourselves are confused with these devatas, with these gods. Are there so many gods? Is the first question. How many gods are there? Goda said, "Muppattu moovar amarar. Avarku munsendru kappantavirkum kali நீ." நீதான் கலி. கலியா கலியா ஏதோ அது நீதான் கோதை சொன்னான். So the saver, life saver, protector of all the souls is only one. Ksharatmana visate deva ekaha. Upanishad very clearly says the protector of this nature and the souls is only one. Go anywhere in the Upanishads, you can find only one God. But one God manifests in different forms for you. And he accepts so many souls as his representatives, and through them he manifests. At times he directly comes. Whenever he directly comes, we call them as incarnations. Whenever he manifests through people, we call them devatas. So there is a clear difference between a devata and Paramatman. In Srimad Bhagavat, at the very beginning, this is very clearly shown. Sri Sukacharya explains this to the great king Parikshit. He says, "Oh my Parikshit, God appears in any form, in form of a human, in form of a rishi, in form of a tree, in form of a stone, in form of an animal. In any form he can appear. And you can feel the presence of God anywhere. But remember, he appears through sattvic forms, he appears through rajasic forms, he appears through tamasic forms also. At times, he himself appears on this earth. My friends, it's interesting to note, Kapila is also one of the incarnations of the same Lord, but it is in a tamasic form. Buddha is also one of the incarnations of Lord, but it was in a tamasic form. Parasurama, is one of the incarnations. We are not worshipping that Parasurama avatar at all, are we? Why? As you are worshipping Rama, you should worship Parasurama avatar also. Are you doing that? Why? Because that avatar meant for some purpose. On through some jiva, God did some work. That was Parasurama Avatara. When the purpose is over, then he withdrew his what you call that, Shakti. The Shakti which was called that, taken back. Rama. So he, God maybe an ordinary sage, that particular soul has taken back. That's all. So he became an ordinary sage, Parasurama. Just he left for weaving, a Rajku. Parasurama taken back. That's on particular mountain. That not what you call that, the Shakti which was imposed on that particular soul has taken back. That's all. Back. That's taken imposed on that particular. So he became as Shakti, what you having one.